Hi, good morning. Um, all right, so this morning we're gonna do like a little 35-40 minute flow together. I went for a run this morning, so I'm gonna base this practice around just stretching and lengthening for the most part. And there'll probably be a little bit of standing stuff to get a strong foundation before we come down and stretch. All right, and then feel free to modify, do as little or as much as you're ready for. All right, so good to be here with you this morning. Let's get started. I'm going to go over to the mat here. All right, so we'll start at the top of the mat and we'll open up the feet hip width distance. Turn your toes forward and slide your heels out so they're behind the two big toes. And we're going to lift the shoulders back over the hips, drop the tailbone down, let the arms relax along the side of your body, let the fingertips relax down by your hips towards the floor, and then gaze straight forward, gaze out just past the tip of your nose so the back of your neck gets a little bit longer. Let your eyes soften to a point right maybe at the tip of your nose or someplace out in front of you, maybe 4 or 5 feet out in front of you. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Let your lungs expand. And then open the mouth and exhale out. We're going to do that again. Inhale through the nose. And then open the mouth and Let's bring the feet together, and now your heels and toes are going to touch side by side. We're going to firm up through the front of the legs, lift up through the pit of the belly, lengthen through the spinal muscles, reach both arms up over your shoulders, bring your hands together, and then exhale, folding. Bring your hands all the way down to your feet. You can bend your knees here as you bring your hands to the floor. Halfway lift, open your chest forward, lengthen your back, pull the stomach muscles in, and then exhale, fold down over the legs. Give your head a little nod from side to side. Take a few slow inhales and exhales. And then one more breath here, fold it over. And then halfway lift, look a little bit forward, and we're going to walk the feet back to a downward facing dog now. So we're going to step the feet to down dog. And let's look for maybe 3.5 to 4 feet distance between the hands and the feet, depending on how tall you are. Spread the fingertips out onto the mat, tilt your tailbone up, and I'm like just about 5 foot tall. Pull your hips back, drop your head down. Let's take a big breath in through the nose, lengthening the arms, lengthening the back. Exhale through the nose. And then one more breath cycle here. And now the inhale, we're going to lift the heels, and the exhale, we're going to bring the knees to the floor. Let's inhale, look up into a cow pose, tilt your tailbone up, lift your chin off your chest, look skyward. And then exhale, cat pose, round your back. Empty out your lungs, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, cow. The chest arches open, and then exhale, cat, round your back, pull all your stomach muscles in towards your spine, drop your head to the floor. Inhale, cow, look up. And exhale, cat, round your back, lengthen your tailbone, lift through your inner thighs and the pit of the belly muscles. And then one more time, inhale, cow, arch your chest, lift your chin, let your throat muscles open. And then exhale, cat. Emptying out the lungs, rounding the back, creating some space there in your back. And then back to tabletop. Look forward. Let's firm the back of the arms. Broaden across the collarbones. Look slightly forward. think of a nice bit of space between the armpit and the hip hollow muscles here. And now we're going to stay on the left knee and the left hand, and we're going to send the right leg back behind us, straightening out the right leg, and we're going to start to rock forward and back from the heel of the right foot forward, bringing the crown of the head towards the top of the mat. And now as we do this, let's stay aware that we're not sinking into our shoulders, that we're not dumping into the shoulder joint here, but keeping the arms nice and active, the ribs knitting in, the lower back nice and lengthened here, so there's a lot of support here. And now we're going to roll onto the left knee and hand. We're going to keep the right foot down and lift the right arm away from the floor. And then slowly turn, look up towards your left hand. Let's bend at the left elbow, create a cactus shape here, and start to make a few circles through your right shoulder. Working around through the shoulder socket here. And then let's re-straighten out the right arm, circle out the right wrist. Work into the wrist too. And now this top hand, we're going to bring it down and catch your bottom rib cage and turn. Look down, scoop the bottom rib cage in, firming through the left hip, lengthening through the right hip. Look down towards your left hand on the floor. Good. And then we're going to come back to a tabletop. We're going to bring the right hand down, releasing the left rib, and bring the right knee to the mat. And now we're going to swing the hips out to the right, find some length in the right side of your body, and then drop your hips back towards your heels, swing your hips out to the left, and then forward towards your hands. And now start to make like a little circle here, so you start to lean into the palms, lean into the hips. And this can also be just a really small circle, maybe just a little weight forward towards your hands. Maybe your wrists aren't ready for a lot of weight forward, that's all right. And then move your circle in the other direction, and now lean out in the other direction. Again, be good to your body. Whatever your body is signaling, honor that. There's wisdom there. And now back to tabletop. Let's add on here. We're going to turn the fingertips in towards the knees now. So we're going to flip the palms around. This is a nice stretch for the forearm, through the elbow, the wrists. And then we're going to start to lean back just a little bit towards the heels. So maybe a little bit of a cat stretch here again, so the back starts to round. And you can drop your chin down towards your chest so the back of the neck opens. Draw your eye gaze up towards your belly. And then maybe nod your head from side to side. Bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Left ear over to the left shoulder. And then one more time to either side. And then back to the center. We're going to turn the fingertips forward again. And now we're going to stay on the right hand and the right knee, and we're going to step the left foot back so the left knee lifts from the mat. Lift through the front of the left leg, lift through the abdominal muscles, tilt the chest forward. So we got a lot of space in our back here, and we're going to rock from the left heel forward towards the top of the mat through the crown of the head. Staying connected to your breath as it moves in through your nose and out through your nose. If possible, we want to try to breathe through the nose. That's always really nice here, to breathe through the nose if we can. And now we're going to turn onto the right hand and the right knee. We're going to keep the left foot on the floor, and we're going to firm into the left side of the body. Lift the right shoulder over the right wrist, and then slowly reach your left arm up. Let your chest open away from the floor. And then we're going to bend the left elbow, create that sort of cactus shape or goalpost shape, and start to make some circles into your left shoulder. Moving that upper arm bone in the left shoulder here. And then sometimes it's even nice to maybe nod the head. And then we're going to re-extend the left arm, reach the left fingertips skyward, and then we're going to bring this left hand down, reach for the right rib cage, hug the right rib cage in, and then look down towards your right hand. Scoop the right side of your ribs up and in. And then we're going reach the left arm back up again, creating a lot of space here through the left side of the body, and then we're going to come back to tabletop. Bring the left knee down, look a little bit forward, and now downward facing dog. We're going to lift the knees and push back, down face dog. Now, let's move forward into a plank pose for a minute here. Bring your shoulders forward. This is a traditional high push-up position. The hips are just below the shoulders, and we're going to bring the heels over the toes if we can. Spread through the shoulder blades. Look slightly forward so the ears are in line with the shoulders. Let the fingers spread underneath the shoulders against the floor. So this is a plank pose position, yeah? And then if you push back to down dog, this could be your downward facing dog. And so this takes a lot of core work here to hold this downward dog. So sometimes it's nice to step the feet in a little bit closer, and that can give our core a little bit of assist. It creates more of a stretch down the back of your legs. Let your head drop away from the neck and shoulders. Maybe nod your head from side to side. And we're going to spread the shoulder blades at the back. Lift and lengthen through the arms. So we're taking weight from the wrists. And then lift through the pit of the belly, taking weight out of the shoulders, lengthening into the back. Dropping the heels down towards the floor. Pretty big stretch there. You might even feel it at the sole of your foot. And let's hold here for another breath. And now inhale forward to a plank pose. Come back to that high push-up position. And so if you shorten your down dog, maybe you wiggle your heels back a little bit. Look forward, and then let's roll to the toe tops. Drop the knees down to the mat. Bend at the elbows, tilt your tailbone up, touch your chest and your chin to the floor. This is called an 8-point salute. It looks a little bit like a little inchworm position. It's a pretty big opening through the chest, through the center of the chest, and then we're going to move into a cobra pose. So we're going to untuck the toes, let the legs stretch back behind us. With the hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, look forward. So we want to lengthen into the lower back, extend out through the legs, extend out through the toes, look a little bit forward, holding here for a few breaths. And now child's pose. We're going to open the knees wide, sit back on the heels, reach the arms forward. We'll bring the forehead down to the mat, and let's hold here. And we'll hold here for a few more breath cycles. Let your hips lengthen back towards your heels. And if your hips don't touch your heels, it's okay. You could even bring a block underneath your heels. I don't have any blocks with me, but you could even bring a block between your hips and your heels and hold here. Let's stay for one more breath. And we're going to lift back to tabletop position. And now let's send the right leg back behind us again. And now we're going to turn the left toes out, come back into your kneeling plank pose, reach your right arm up, and now we're going to lift away from the mat. So the left hand, let's lift the fingertips, lift up onto the fingertips and into a gate pose. We're going to slowly come up, lengthening or engaging through the left side, and then take your right arm over to the right leg, reach your left arm up and over to the right, and we'll hold here for a few breaths. Softening through the tops of your shoulders so there's no added tension there, even though the arms are lifted. Lifting through the lower abdominal, look, the pretty big stretch through the left side of your body, a little squeeze into the right side. Good. And then we're going to come back to tabletop. We're going to bring the left hand down and then bring the right knee and the right hand to the mat. And we're going to go right over to the second side now. So the left leg's going to stretch out. We're going to spin the right foot out to the right. Come back to your kneeling side plank, reach your left arm up, and now we're going to squeeze into the right side, engage through this whole right side of your body. We're going to pad up onto the right fingertips and then slowly come up and bring the left hand to the left leg, reach your right arm up and over to the left. Let a big line of stretch lift from the right knee up to the right fingertips. Softening through the neck and shoulders. No need for any tension there. Maybe you look towards your left shoulder, or you can look up towards your right shoulder if that feels all right for your neck. And now back to tabletop. We're going to bring the hands to the mat, bring your left knee to the mat, and back to our downward facing dog. So we're going to open the hands up shoulder distance, spread the fingertips wide, rotate the soft pit of your elbow forward, spread through your shoulder blades, and then lift the knees, push back, down face dog. Let's inhale, lift both heels up, and we're going to walk the feet forward to the hands. Open up your feet hip width distance. You can have a bend into your knees here. You can also bring a block underneath your bottom hand, and we're going to twist here. Reach your right arm up. I don't have a block, but I've got this little medicine ball. So if the ground is really far from you, you can bring something underneath the bottom hand, bend your left knee, and look up towards your right hand. Broaden through your chest. So think of a big opening through the collarbones, a twist through the rib cage. Look towards your right hand, both hips pushing back behind you. And we're going to switch it out. Bring the right hand down now, bend the right knee, and reach your left arm up. Lengthen through your spine. Knit your floating ribs in. Look towards your left shoulder. One more breath here. And then we're going to release the left hand, lower it down. All right, let's halfway lift, extend the arms behind us, join your hands together. You can use a towel or a strap. I don't have one of those with me. And then we're going to fold here, drop your head towards your feet. And again, you can bend your knees. Maybe give your chest some pumps in towards your legs. Some gentle bouncing, nod your head. And so my hands are loose. The palms aren't tight together. But if you want more of a deep stretch, you can really squeeze the palms in together, pressing the butt of the palms in towards each other, and really drop the knuckles towards the head, towards the floor. And I really love this stretch, so I'm going to stay here for one more breath cycle. All right, and now release the hands to the mat. We're going to heel toe the feet in together, and let's take a big step back with the right foot, and we're going to lower the right knee down, and let's let the hips lunge forward towards your left heel. Arch your chest, lift your chin up off your chest, and we're going to hold here for a few breaths, opening up through the right hip flexors. And I am letting my right knee lunge forward past my left knee lunge forward past my left toes. But it feels all right. If you have any sort of strange sensation in your knee, inch your left toes a little bit more forward so you stack your knee over your heel here. And then 2 more breaths. And your gaze can be straight forward towards your nose out in front of you, or you can drop your head and let the back of the neck open and look towards your left foot on the floor. And then we're going to stay lifted through the lower abdominal muscles. And even a little tuck of the tailbone so there's some support there in your lower back. And now we're going to start to tuck the right toes under, straighten out your left leg, fold out over the left leg here. We're going to keep our hips squared, our shoulders squared forward over the, or towards the left leg out in front of us. It's a pretty substantial stretch through the back of your left leg, maybe the side of your left leg if your hips are squared. And now let's add on to this. We're going to turn the left toes out at an angle. That's going to intensify the stretch through the left outer edge of your leg. You may feel it through the edge of your left knee, the back of your left knee, down towards your left pinky toe, up towards your left hip. All right, and then we're gonna turn the left toes forward, lunge forward, and then we're gonna lift the right knee, and we're gonna lunge from the left foot that's out in front of us towards the right foot, towards a Skandasana. If you need to stay a little bit lifted, you can stay a little more lifted, right knee over the right heel, a big stretch through the inner left leg here, and we're gonna lengthen at the lower back, lift through the abdominals. You can also bring this down lower. You can drop your hips towards your right heel if you feel ready for that. One more breath, softening through the shoulders, noticing where you might be holding tension. I always like to scan my body and notice where I can let go and where maybe I can bring a little more awareness. All right, and now low lunge towards your left foot. We're gonna lift away from the right leg. Turn towards your left foot, and we're gonna step back to down dog. Let's just step it right on back, downward facing dog. Spread the fingertips wide, lift through the pit of the belly. Inhale forward to plank pose, and exhale, I'm gonna use the knees, chest and chin lower to the floor. Cobra pose, both hips to the mat. Arch your chest, let your legs lengthen back behind you, and let's hold here. Let's say 3. 2. 1 more breath. And now downward facing dog. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Big breath out through the nose. And then walk your feet to your hands at the top of the mat. Let's roll up into a mountain pose. Root through your feet. We want to ground through the heels, ground through the ball of the foot, and then start to lift up through the leg muscles, lift up through the abdominal muscles, lift through the spine, the shoulders, and then reach both arms up over the shoulders. And then we're going to exhale, lower the arms by the side. Shrug your shoulders up into your ears and drop your shoulders down into your back. Mountain pose, we're going to reach both arms up, look towards your hands as your arms lift. Fold forward, bring your hands all the way down to your feet. You can bend your knees, and we're going to take a big step back now with the left foot. Lower your left knee down, and we're going to let the hips lunge forward towards the right heel. Again, my right knee is lunging over my heel, and it feels just fine for me. But if it doesn't feel good for you, inch your right toes forward. Good, and then we'll hold here. Let's hold here together. We're going to take three complete breaths. And as we hold this pose, we're going to let our hips lunge towards the right heel if there's room for that. Lengthen the tailbone down. We're going to lift through the pit of the belly so there's a little pelvic tilt. Offer the chest up. Let the shoulders drop down. 1 more breath. All right, and now we're going to start to straighten out the right leg. Inhaling, pull the hips back. And then holding here. And let's square the hips. If the hips are sort of tilted out at an angle, let's pull the right hip back in line with the left hip. Look forward out towards the edge of your right toes, if possible. Or if it feels better, maybe your gaze drops down towards your right knee. Holding here, 3. 2, there's some engagement around the pit of your belly. And then we're going to add on to this. Let's turn the right toes out at an angle. This is going to intensify a stretch down the right edge of your leg. So at the corner of your right knee, up to the right hip and down towards your right little toe on the foot. Let your exhale, maybe visualize your exhale carrying out tension or a deep melting through the right side as you exhale. And then we're going to turn the right toes forward again. We're going to tuck the left toes under And let's lift the left knee away from the floor. And now we're gonna drop the hips over towards the left foot. So we're gonna straighten out the right leg. Bring the hips over towards the left foot. And if you need to stay more lifted, you can stay more lifted like you've got a skater's lunge. If you feel like you're ready, you can bring your hips down lower towards your left heel. Lift through the center of your chest, lengthen through your tailbone. Think of a little tilt of the pelvis forward towards the left side of your mat. And you can look to the right shoulder, you can look down towards the left foot, whatever feels better for your neck and shoulders. And now low lunge towards your right foot. We're gonna lift away from the left foot, turn towards your right foot, and we are gonna step it back, downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot back. And then let's unplug the hands, walk back to the feet. And now wiggle your feet out a little wider than your hips. Turn your toes out away from the center line of your body and slowly let your hips drop down. And now let's keep the left hand on the mat. Reach your right arm up towards the sky or towards the ceiling. Look towards your right hand. And then we're going to bring the right hand down inside the right foot, your right elbow inside your right knee. And now reach your left arm up. Turn and look up towards your left shoulder. And now we're going to bring the left hand down inside the left foot, and we're going to fold over our legs. So we're going to start to straighten out the legs, lift the hips from the floor, turn the toes forward in front of the heels, wiggle your feet in together, and we're going to come back up into mountain pose at the back of the mat. Slowly standing tall, lengthen your tailbone, reach both arms up over your shoulders. Good, and then exhale, arms by your side. Let's take a step forward with the right foot. Take a step forward towards the middle of your mat. And let's bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers there, lift your head and chest. And we're going to fold out over the right leg. So now let's start to fold forward, hinging from the hips, lengthening through the back. If you need to have a bend into the knees, you can. And we're going to start to fold out over the right leg, relaxing the neck down towards the right foot, lifting through the pit of the belly. Let your back open here, the legs open. Look right down towards your right shin, your right ankle, or your right foot. And then if it feels comfortable, drop the head. Maybe you gaze back towards the left foot. Lifting the knuckles away from the back, if there's room to do that. One more breath here, finding some space in our back. And then we're going to lift halfway, or maybe just a quarter of the way from the right foot. Bring your hands down to the mat, and we're going to turn to the left for a wide foot pose. We're going to turn the right toes out to the left. Kick your heels out a little wider than your toes. Let your head drop. You can keep your hands on the floor here. And we're going to fold towards the mat. And if you like, you can walk your hands through the center of your legs. Maybe nod your head from side to side. Maybe even bounce. A little bit of a bounce. Or you can bend one knee and squat that way. Bend the other knee and squat a little bit over towards the right side. I feel like this is a pretty yummy stretch in my body. I really love it, so I linger here. And then we're going to start to lift halfway again. Take your time, ease your chest forward to the left, pull your shoulders back away from your neck and head, and then low lunge towards your right foot. All right, we're going to set up for a warrior two. So let's inch the right foot a little bit more forward out in front of us. Maybe let's say 1, 2, 3 feet between the right foot and the left foot. And we're going to open up to a warrior two. So we're going to spin the left arm back behind us. Extend the right arm forward. You want your right knee forward over the right heel, and then you can adjust the distance here. You can create as much stretch as you like. Look out over the right center of your hand. Move the arms out wide away from the chest, parallel and equal with the floor. Press back into the blade edge of your left foot. Good, anchoring there. Lift up through the chest, Knit the ribs in, hold here for 3. 2. 1 more breath here together. And then low lunge. We're going to bring both hands down to the right foot. Lower your left knee to the mat, and we're going to come back to that half split pose here. Stay here, or you can move forward into a full split. One more breath here. You may feel this stretch through the sides of your legs as well. All right, downward facing dog. We're going to step the right foot back to down dog, so we'll bring it in first towards midline. Lift the left knee away from the mat, plant the palms, and step the right foot back to down dog. For a vinyasa, we're going to inhale forward to plank, exhale low push-up, or you can use your knees. Upward facing dog, we're going to roll over the toes, or cobra pose. We can keep our hips on the mat, look forward. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in through your nose. Big breath out through your nose. And now we're going to unplug our hands, walk back to the feet. Feeling a little bit lazy today. Heel toe your feet in together, and we're going to slowly come up to standing. Root through your feet, lift through your spine, reach both arms up over your shoulders, and then exhale, bring your hands into your chest. It's good to have lazy days. This is actually my day off, so I'm going to go with it. All right, we're going to step the left foot forward for our pyramid pose. And we're going to hinge from the hips. Keep both hips squared, both heels pressing down towards the mat, and we're going to fold out over the legs, bringing the hands to the floor. And you can start to look down towards your left shin, your left ankle, your left foot, or maybe you start to drop your gaze and look back towards your right foot. And you can even walk the hands back, or you can bring your hands together behind you. Whatever you feel up to, whatever you feel like you need here. That shoulder stretch, if you like, your hands together or your hands on the floor reaching towards the back of your mat. Let's hold here for 3. Think of the ribs dropping away from your pelvis. 2. In Sanskrit, this pose is called Parsvottanasana, and it's an intense side leg stretch. So if your hips are squared and the belly button muscles are lifting, you are definitely going to feel that stretch down the sides of your legs as well as the back of your legs. And then we're going to inhale, halfway lift, or lift 3/4 away from your left leg. And now we're going to turn to the right for a wide foot pose. This is called Prasarita Padottanasana. So now the feet are maybe, I don't know, my feet are pretty, not that wide. So you can open them up wider. You can create like a 3-foot distance between the right and the left side, or it can be a little more narrow. And we're going to fold right down the center of the legs here. Now dropping the head, you can walk your hands through the inside of your feet towards the left side of your mat and push through your hands, stacking your elbows over your wrists if you like for something a little more intense, or you can make it really soft and just let your arms relax. But we're going to keep lifting. Let's make a deal. We're going to lift through the front of the legs, activate the shins, let your head drop, let your spine open. With the back of your legs and your hips open. You can add some watery movement here. Something watery through your ribs. Just sort of wiggle and sway from side to side. Nod the head. or that more active pose where the palms are planted, the elbows are stacked over your wrists. And then one more breath here. All right, we're going to lift halfway. Bring the hands back to the right side of your mat. Lift your chest and then low lunge towards your left foot. Turn towards your left foot. Lower your right knee down to the mat. And we're going to come back to our half split pose. So now we're going to straighten out the left leg. Look forward towards the top of the mat. And let's hold here together. Stay in your half split. Or you can bring your legs out a little bit wider for full split pose. Let's say 2 more breaths. All right, and now it's downward facing dog. So we're going to start to bring the left foot back in. Tuck the right toes under, lift through the lower abdominal muscles, plant your palms, and now it's downward dog. We're going to step the left foot to the back. Tilt your tailbone upward, knit your ribs in, pull your belly button muscles in, back towards the spine, and now inhale forward to plank pose. Look forward, exhale, low push up, or remember you can use your knees. Upward facing dog or cobra pose, and into a child's pose. Let's sit back on the heels. I lost an earpiece. Sitting back on the heels, knees out wide. Let's hold here for a few breaths. One more cycle of breathing. And now inhale up to tabletop. We're going to move into camel pose. So we're going to open up the knees hip width distance. Lift your hands onto your lower back. Lift your shoulders over your hips. And we're going to lift through the inner legs. Hug your elbows back behind you so the hips move forward over your knees. And then arch the chest, offer your chest up. Roll your shoulders back and down into your back body. Lift your chin up off your chest and start to look back a little bit further. Stay here, or you can bring your hands down onto your heels, reaching for your heels, opening up through the fronts of the legs, the fronts of the hips, as well as this big back bend, yeah? Hold here for 3. 2. And 1. And now inhale, the hands come back to the hips, lengthen through the tailbone, straighten through your spine, and let's sit back on the heels. And let's just hold here for another breath. All right, we're going to come back up onto the knees, and let's just take a little mini step forward with the right foot. Bring your hands to your chest center, and we're going to twist now. So we're going to bring the left elbow down to the corner of the right knee. Hook that left elbow against the corner of your right knee, and we're going to lift through the abdominals, lift through the chest, lift through the right shoulder, turn and look to the right. If you need to stay upright, you can stay upright and look to the right here, and we're going to hold here for 3. If you want to add on, you can bring your left hand down and reach your right arm up. All right, and then we're going to lift away from the right leg, and we're going to come back downward facing dog. Good. Spread the fingers wide. Pull the front of the hips back. Tilt the tailbone up. And now inhale forward to plank pose. Exhale, low push up. Upward facing dog or cobra pose. And into a tabletop. Back to camel pose. We're going to come up onto the knees. Bring your hands to your lower back. Push both hips forward. Lengthen your tailbone. Offer the chest up. Lift the chin up. Look towards the ceiling. Maybe look a little bit further back. And then if you can, bring your hands onto your heels. If you need to keep your hands on your hips, keep your hands on your hips. And then let's hold here 3. And then we're going to let the hands come back to the hips. Straighten the spine or lengthen the spine. And now tabletop. Let's bring both hands down. And now we're going to take that little mini step forward with the left foot. Reach both arms up over your shoulders. We're going to twist, bring the hands to the chest. And we're going to turn and bring the right elbow to the left knee corner. Turn and look to your left shoulder, or you can stay upright here. Think of the hips staying balanced. Turn and look to the left. And let's hold here for 3. You can open up the arms if you feel ready for that. All right, and we're going to lift away from the left leg, and we're going to come back downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank, exhale low push up. Upward facing dog. And back to our tabletop. All right, this is hero's pose. So now we're going to bring the knees forward, open the heels, and we're going to sit between the heels with the hips. This is a pretty big stretch for the front of the legs. It can be felt through the knees, yeah, and even the ankles. If this is enough, stay here. You can also bring something to sit on. You can bring a block underneath your hips and sit on a block. I don't have a block with me today. They're in the other room where my other yoga mat's at. But you could sit on a block and take a little pressure off your knees if there's too much pressure there, yeah? All right, if there's room, you're gonna bring your hands onto your feet and you're gonna lean back onto your elbows. So it's okay if the knees split apart. You can split your knees apart, but we wanna make sure that the knees don't lift, because if they start to lift, this can add some pressure onto the inner knees, and we do not wanna do that. All right, and now if there's room, we're gonna lean back and bring the shoulders to rest. Maybe the head rests back, and then you can add on and lift your arms over your shoulders. If that does not feel comfortable for your shoulders, you can keep your hands down by your feet. And let's hold here for 3. 2. And 1. And then we're going to come back up the way we came down. So we're going to firm the elbows to the floor, lift through the inner leg muscles. We're going to prop up onto the elbows and then lift back up onto the hands. And then tabletop. We're going to bring our hands forward out in front of us, stack the hips over the knees, walk the knees out underneath the hips. And then let's tuck the toes under, and we're going to sit back on the heels. Roll towards your right heel or your right pinky toe. And then roll your hips over towards your left pinky toe. And then one more time, over to the right. And then over to the left. And we're going to cross the ankles and take a seat for Baddha Konasana. And so now let's bring the feet together. Let your knees open out wide, and we're going to bring the hips up towards the heels. And so some of you are going to be able to get your hips up close to your heels. Maybe it's better to have the feet a little bit wider from the hips. We're going to lift up through the chest, drop the sit bones down into the mat, those two pointy bones at your tail. And then we're going to extend forward. You can press your elbows into the inner thighs. Lift through your chest, look forward out in front of you, and then find a nice stretch here. So this can be a challenging stretch. You can really make it more intense and extend forward. You can even grab your feet and fold out, bringing your chest and your abdomen towards your feet. Or this can be softer, and you can move your arms out away from you, turn your palms up, let your head drop. Bow your head towards your feet. Maybe nod your head from side to side, or even walk the hands over to the left. Create a little more stretch through the right side of your body. Walk your hands over to the right. Create a little more stretch through the left side of your body. However we find this stretch, we want to be true to our back. So on the front of the body, a little lift into the abdominals. A little lift through the center of the chest, so the lower back is happy here. And let's stay for one more breath. And now we're going to inhale to come up. And let's make our way into Gomukhasana. So we are going to bring the left heel to the outside of the right hip, and we're going to cross the right knee over the left knee. I'm actually going to turn towards you. All right. So we've got the right knee over the left knee. If that's not happening, maybe the feet aren't quite so close into the hips. So this can be adjustable. Think of it like a belt with loops that you can adjust for the mobility and the space you have in your hips today, yeah? And then let's reach the right arm up over the shoulder, bend at the elbow. We're gonna catch the right elbow with the left hand, and we're gonna apply a gentle little tug here against the right elbow. Or you can bring your left hand behind your back, turn your palm open away from your back, and walk your left hand up towards your right hand. The hands may come together, maybe they don't. Today mine don't want to touch, and I'm not going to force that. So now we're going to reach forward through the crown of the head, lengthen through your ribs and your chest out over this cow face pose shape here. And let's say we're going to hold here for 3 breaths together. Look for a stretch through your outer hips. Maybe even through the groin and the inner thighs, you may feel that there. Your lower back. One more breath. And then let's inhale to come away from the legs. Bring your right arm in front of your chest. Sweep it across your chest. And with your left hand, hook onto your right arm. Turn your head, look to the right. Release your right arm, reach your right arm all the way out to the right. Reach out nice and long. Lean over to the right side of your mat and reach your left arm up. And give yourself a little side stretch, turn, look up towards your left shoulder. And then let's keep the left hip, keep your left hip down on the mat so you can back out a little bit. If you need to, turn and look towards your left shoulder or your left hand. And then we're going to come back to the center, let your left arm lower to the mat. Stretch your legs out long in front of you. Reach both arms up over your shoulders now. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms up. And then exhale, lower your hands behind your back, join your hands together, and let's fold over the legs. Hinging forward, Stretch your chest and your chin out over your legs, maybe even a little wobble here in this. And then we're going to lift back up, pull the navel in, lift the shoulders over the hips. Bring your hands behind you. I'm going to come back a long ways on the mat. Bring the hands behind you, turn your fingertips in. Firm through the back of your arms, open through the fronts of your arms. Offer your chest up, lift your chin up. Stay here or bend your knees, reverse tabletop. We're going to lift both hips up from the mat, lengthen the tailbone, lift through the chest, pretty big stretch through the fronts of your shoulders, the front of your arms, the front of your hips. Let's lift the hips a little bit higher and then slowly bring the hips back down to the floor. All right, and now Gomukhasana, second side. So now we're going to bring the right heel to the left outer hip and bring your left knee over your right knee. Both hips are on the floor here. Make sure you're not sitting on your right heel. So if we can, we want to get the right foot out towards the left hip. And then we're going to reach the left arm up, bend at the left elbow, bring your left hand between the back of the shoulders, and catch your left elbow with your right hand. And we're going to apply some pressure against the left elbow with the right hand. Stay there or bring your right hand behind your back. Turn your palm open away from your back and walk it up towards your left hand. One side might feel different than the other. I know this hand comes together pretty easily. The other side didn't want to do that. And I'm just going to go with it, whatever the shoulders want. And now hinge forward and fold. And let's not let that, don't let your head drop to your chin. Let's keep the chest open here. Keep your chest open. Pull your belly button muscles in towards your spine, away from the floor as you fold towards it. And let's hold here for 3, 2, 1 more cycle of breath here. And then we're going to inhale, come up. And bring the left arm in front of the chest. Let your left arm sweep across your chest, and with your right hand, catch your left arm, and now turn and look to the left. One more breath here together. All right, and then we're going to release the arms, and I'm going to turn towards you again. And now we're going to bring the left arm out long and reach the right arm up and over to the left. And so you might really walk yourself out a little longer to the left, or maybe stay more upright. Be good to your body. Listen to your body. It's filled with wisdom. Look up towards the right hand, or you can look down towards the left hand, holding here for 3, 2. Sometimes we can really get in a competition with not just with other people, but with ourselves. Like, I know, wow, I really have to check myself. Sometimes I feel like, well, I was there yesterday, I should be there today. But each day is something new, and there is something special about each day being new, letting that be new, and letting go of expectation, letting go of judgment, letting go of fear, and appreciating the moment, what's in it. All right, and then we're going to slowly come up, and I'm cooked, so we're going to set up for Savasana. So now we're going to turn towards the front of the mat, stretch your legs out long, maybe wiggle your toes, roll your shoulders, any props that you like here for yourself. Sometimes it's nice to lay back on blocks, or you can lay back on a pillow. And in fact, I will grab this pillow. All right, so now I'm going to bring this pillow underneath my knees just because I can, because it's my day off. And then I'm going to lay back here. Maybe I may adjust this pillow here. I'm going to lay back. Oh yeah. With the arms stretch out. There we go. Walk the hips out. Let the feet open away from each other. Let your arms move out away comfortably from your body. And so whatever feels restful here, this feels really nice for me with the arms tossed over the shoulders. But you can move your arms out wide, away from your body and down slightly. Make any adjustments with the neck and shoulders. Close your eyes if you have an eye pillow. I mean, if practicing at home, the eye pillow may be handy for you. You can cover your eyes. And then let's take a big breath in together. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and slowly exhale. Inhale through your nose again. Open the mouth, ah. And now let your lips move together, gently sealing the mouth, letting your breath return to its own natural dance of inhale and exhale as the body does on its own without any effort. Let your toes relax, all the toes on your right foot, the right foot itself, all the toes on your left foot, and then the left foot itself. All the fingers on your right hand, and then the right hand itself relaxed. All the fingers on the left hand, and then the left hand itself relaxed. Relax the entire right leg and the right foot. Relax the entire left leg and left foot. Relax the entire right arm and right hand. Relax the entire left arm and left hand. Relax the entire right side of your body. The entire left side of your body relax. The entire front side of your body relaxed. The entire back side of your body relaxed. And now the entire body relaxed. And then stay here as long as you like. And when you are ready to move from Savasana, take your time, move slowly. Slowly come back with gentle movement when you're ready. Stay with your practice. Stay with your breath in your body and take your practice into everything that you do for the rest of the day. Savoring each moment, each connection. Fully investing yourself in what you're doing. Noticing how you're doing it. Letting it be an offering to your own spirit, an offering to the spirit of others, an offering to the world, an offering to what's important to you. So that all that you do is nourishment for yourself and nourishment to the world.
Namaste.